Legion of Superheroes, issue 1, Brian Michael Bendis writing, Ryan Sick on art. So Connor can sit there and be bored for more time.
I will say is I almost bought this issue, not with any intention of reading it, but my shop was giving away the rings if you bought the issue, and I thought
they didn't order enough, so I didn't get a ring.
My shop had like a cup full of the rings by the till that they were just giving out if you bought an issue, and I was like, but it's kind of a lot of just for the sake of the ring. I thought probably not.
Yeah, I really want a ring. I gotta find one now. I'll buy another one. I don't mind. I need the variant. My shop didn't get any of the variants.
If I'd realized that, I'd have got one for you.
That's all right. So I'll just start by this. It's a Legion. I'm still very excited. I finally started to feel what Connor says about Bendis in this issue.
So I should definitely not try this out then.
Now it might be because I'm used to a different version of the Legion. And this throws you at the beginning into Bendis's stuff, like instantly. There was just a lot of stuff going on in this issue. I got very excited when John finally shows up. Not that it was bad per se, it was just a lot for an issue 1. So that's really my only negative takeaway. Now I'm ready to praise this book.
That one thing out of the way, now I'm going to praise it.
Yes. Yep. Just the lot of stuff to take in. I might have to give it a reread just before the next one comes out, so I have everything straight. But this is the Legion. This is all versions. It hits what it needs to, with why they were founded, why they're so diverse, even little pieces of the character. Like we get to meet Ultra Boy first, and he's a little bit more of a I don't want to say militaristic because that's not what he is, but he's definitely a what's the word? I don't want to say a rough character either because that makes him sound bad, but
yeah. I don't know what you're trying to say, so I can't help you.
No, he's so in this they use his origin that his dad's the guy that focuses the military for the United Planets, right? So there's like a authoritarian streak behind Ultra Boy, right? He's kind of tough on everybody. He has this kind of chip on his shoulder, if you will, and that came across immediately in the new Bendis one. So that was good. Same with Wildfire and his goofiness here, where he's a living fire character. Like he has to be in a containment suit. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's Legion. I'll give it that much.
Okay, so we start off in the Bloodhaven sewer system on planet Gotham, and we have this chase, sort of going through Ultra Boy here. Is that who you said this was? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ultra Boy.
Look, there's a lot of characters in this. It's hard to take them all in, and probably left a lot of them behind.
Does it do the thing that a lot of Legion books do with having the names in boxes next to them, like repeatedly?
If not only does it do it, it does it in continuity.
It does it as part of the story to where there's so many of them. It's part of the technology that it pops up so you know who they are and where they come from.
I wonder if that'll continue doing it, because most Legion books I've tried do that like every issue, even with the characters that you should already know by issue like 4. They still pop up and say that.
No, it was a thing throughout the 3-boot Legion too, just to remind you, because there's so many stories going on that it reminds you where they're from and what their power set is. So
because there's so many of them.
Rimbor, yeah. So like Ultra Boy would come up. Ultra Boy, his name's Joe Na, which that always cracks me up. And it'll say Rimbor, where he's from, Homeworld, and then you get a little bit of there. So yeah, like Pete said, it's in continuity. So when John meets them for the first time, it pops up.
That's cool.
It's kind of like if you ever played Dead Space, the HUD in that's just kind of like floating in front of you. It's kind of like that, but it's behind your back. So Yeah, so Mordru's got this device, this explosive device, that could potentially, save a world, but can also destroy it. And we have some other Legion members show up. The Karate Kid.
Yep.
I don't know why I didn't know there was a Karate Kid in the Legion, but
yeah, Karate Kid.
Yeah, there's a Karate Kid in the Legion.
Hey man, go back and read the Lightning Saga while you're at it, Pete. Like, I know you don't have any time, but he plays a pretty crucial part in a Lightning Saga. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was more of that sentence. No. So they fight Mordru. He turns into a big pink cloud of smoke or whatever. Doesn't go very well, and. Yeah, turns out inside this container, because up to this point we're thinking, it's a bomb, or it's it's some sort of super powered thingamajig, and when they open it, it's actually Aquaman's trident, and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? What do we do with this? And that's when we cut to Saturn Girl and Superboy, John, who are traveling through time. This is him arriving in the 30th century, and meeting the Legion, and. We don't get to meet like a lot of the characters yet. A lot of them are standing around, and we see. Although the one thing about these name tags being in continuity is that they're kind of obscured at times. Like they'll intentionally have them at an angle, or like there'll be a speech bubble in front of them, or something like that.
It shows that they're actually in the world. It's not just text that's there for us. It almost creates a third dimension there.
Yeah, honestly, there's not a whole lot of plot in this. I mean, Rose, who obviously we know is there, tries to talk to him at one point, but a lot of it really is just establishing what the world is like and explaining the Earth as a planet kind of doesn't exist in the way we think of it. It's just now all these domes that are connected, and because John's like, wait, are we trapped like Kandor? Like, why's the glass in the sky?
There's not a good relationship between Bottles and Kryptonians, guys. And like, no, it's not quite like that. He goes, well, why don't we fix Earth? And they go, now that this is fixed.
Yeah, they set up that this entire city is all the Legion headquarters, so it does all this, and they kind of just sort of show him this stuff and explain it to him. So there's quite a few double page layouts of just sort of all these various things, and then eventually the characters with the trident show up and hey, we found the trident. What are we going to do with this? And John's like, hey, my dad knows him. That's like Superman's. That's like his best friend. He's like, I thought the original Batman was his best friend. Original.
Original, yeah. So there's something there.
Yep. But sure enough, this evil army shows up. What were these guys called again? The Haraz.
Yeah, and they're pretty bad. They look like they're going to be the big bads for this first arc at least.
Yes. Are they working in conjunction with Mordru, or is this?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get the trident, and Mordru showed up, and there was all that. But yeah, again, a lot in that first issue to take in.
It's funny.
Not a lot of story. Though.
Yeah, not a lot of story, but there's a lot to take in, characters wise, and villains we're setting up. But I mean, it doesn't really make you really have to the only one that's really talking to John, especially we have to know is Saturn Girl, and then it's just the three that are on their own at the start that we kind of get to know a little bit. So and then the final page is just kind of teasing the villain, the Madam Honor President.
Yeah, so the United Planets President. It looks like something's up there. I'm curious to see if we're going to get to RJ Brand in that part of the Legion, because he's kind of the one that helps them get the charter to start. But it seems like they've been the Legion for a minute now, at this point. So, and I'm wondering if that ends up something that happens now.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird issue to kind of. It feels like half of an issue. It doesn't feel like a full issue to me.
Yep.
It feels like it doesn't have that much story in it, so it kind of feels like, hey, we're just John's arrived, and here's some basic details about the world and the mythology right now. But there's so many names flying around, it's hard to take them all in. To the point where, when I opened this book back up for the start of this conversation, I was quickly skimming for okay, what are these characters' names again? Because I don't remember any of them. I don't remember Wildfire or whoever.
This sounds like even more decompressed than usual by Bendis standards.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a touch.
Oh, and a lot of it is you'd have to, like, you don't have to come in from Superman, but it helps if you're familiar with why John's there. Like, there's no reset up of like, hey, you helped found the United Planets with an idea. This is we need you here.
That's a little bit frustrating. Just as they're marketing it as this whole issue 1, hey, come on board and check it out.
Right.
I feel like you should cater to people who haven't been reading Superman.
So, but yeah, no, it's setting up him and Imra big time as kind of, these are POV characters, can be going forward.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I think Bendis has said that Saturn Girl's effectively the leader, which kind of breaks from tradition. That sometimes it's Cosmic Boy, sometimes it's Lightning Lad.
Well, it's always those three, though, right? They're always the trio at the center of it.
Well, yeah, they're to borrow from Harry Potter, they're the Golden Trio. They're the ones that have villain, alternates. Cosmic King and Saturn Queen and Lightning Lord. As part of the Rogues Gallery. So they've always been important. And in the Great Darkness Saga continuity, Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl end up getting married and having kids. So yeah, it's always those three. Here now, not that it's breaking, but Bendis is already setting up Ultra Boy, Wildfire. He already has a personality. We're getting to know. Brainy shows up a little bit.
Very briefly. I was about to say something, but it was in the other book I read. It wasn't this one.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, everyone's there. I don't think this, just off of one issue, I don't necessarily think this is going to scratch that Legion itch I've been wanting it to, because I wanted the traditional old school Legion that Pete's reading in Legion of Three Worlds, right? Like, that's the one.
Well, there's not much drive in this issue to kind of like propel things. No, obviously it's not bad, and I'm into it enough to like read another one. Like there was nothing unpleasant about it.
Oh,
but
I'm still.
It just kind of exists by the sound of it.
Yeah, art's good. Like it's nothing. Yeah, but again,
it's very good.
It feels like Pete said, half an issue. Like the action sequence in the beginning through the sewer system are really good. And the character designs, like, you're not going to confuse two characters once you get to know them.
There's not much of a hook yet. There's not much of a hook. And if this is, like, supposed to grab new people like me who's not really read any Legion, I don't think it really did anything to hook me on these Legion characters yet. Like, John's still the only one that I kind of feel anything for because, I know who he is. I know Saturn Girl well enough from, like, Doomsday Clock or whatever, but it's a different Saturn Girl.
Yeah, but, when I see him interact with Cosmic Boy, who's one of my favorites, I got real excited, and then we get away from it. I was like, no, I want to see John talking to Cosmic Boy. Come on, man. So yeah, it's just being a Legion fan is getting used to different versions of the Legion, right? That's just something you have to come to terms with.
That just sounds like a microcosm version of being a comic book fan, to be honest.
Right? Like you just have to get used to it, and yeah.
So I mean, it's not bad. I think I'm down to keep reading it and see where it goes. But in terms of all the Bendis issue ones we've had from DC over the past year, I think this is definitely the weakest one, because I think all the other ones, because like Naomi really hooked me, like, and that was a completely new idea.
His action
got me big grabbed time. Me completely.
Out of interest, how does this feel compared to like Millennium issue 1 especially, but as a whole?
I think Millennium was probably a better issue because it had more of a focus in what it was doing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that there was a focus there to show Rose and Thorn going through time to get to the 30th century, or the 31st at this point. And here it's just like, hey John, this is the new world. I almost felt like this should have been a double-sized issue.
Yeah, because the middle chunk of this, when it's John arriving and everything until maybe towards the end, it just kind of feels like, okay, it's going through the motions of, okay, we have to have all this, him meeting everyone for the first time and saying hello and realizing that the Earth's not like a planet like it was before. And that's kind of it. Like,
which we're already accustomed to from Millennium. We saw that at the end. So for that to be treated almost like a surprise, it was like, well, who was this for? Bendis? Like, those Millenniums were subtitled with Legion of Superheroes, right? Like,
it was Legion of Superheroes Millennium, all the way around.
So, and And I told James, because he was asking, like, you don't need to read Millennium, but it kind of sets the stage. Like, it's not essential. Like, he compared it to House of X and Powers of X. I felt like if you're going to read X-Men, you needed to read those first. You don't need to, but it would make it better.
I think this is a decent but kind of a failure of an issue 1, and I say that more harshly than I really want it to sound, but I think the reason why I'm saying it as harsh as that is because Millennium 1 and 2 I really liked, and I think it did a better job of making me excited for the series. So I'm still excited for the series, but I think if anyone skipped those two and just started with this, it's just kind of like, oh, it just feels like another book right now. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything exciting.
So I feel like it'll pick up, just based off of his other stuff that we've seen so far. But yeah, it's definitely at the lower end so far of Bendis introductions, which is a bummer for me as a big Legion fan, but I'm still enjoying everything he's doing.
What are you giving Legion of Superheroes issue 1, Matt?
I'm going to give this a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give it a straight 7. Like, it's fine. It's not a bad book. It's just it is just another book that's, easy enough to read, but it's not exactly hooking me yet. So hopefully that's something that issue 2 or whatever can do. And we'll see how it goes. But the art's very nice, and a lot of promise for the future.